Greg. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Wanted to know your general thoughts on the game.
Recording in progress.
And hey, Kevin, I think Greg's muted too. I can see his. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thank you. General thoughts on the game, and then that ending, and maybe what the gut punch that was.
Look, my general thoughts on the game were the mission tonight was to be in it, take 1 if we had to, and 3 if we could. And because I felt like 10 would give us a good shot still. But we felt like the 3, if we were even, that we would see if we could play for the 3 with the mindset of not giving away the 1, obviously. And so the gut punch in the end is that it's the last play of the game. My vantage point, that's a bit of a deflection off of the 3 of them, and it goes out for the throw, and I'm not so sure it was even their throw. But I tried to watch the replay, and it wasn't clear, and it's not my job anyways. So, but yeah, when they get the long throw and they've got some big guys in there, we've got to do a better job of fronting the big guys and trying to make it really difficult for them to get the flick. And then Roldan just runs off the back of us as we're kind of ball watching what's happening at the front. Roldan sneaks in behind us as we lose our mark, and as would have it, with everything, the ball finds the guy that's in front of the goal to finish it. And so after a ton of work, effort, not an easy place to play, I was really proud of the groups, just their fight and spirit and working through a difficult place. To lose the point at the end is heartbreaking for the group and just, again, for the effort that the guys have put in and what they've continued to battle against all year. But even tonight, just the looking at the microcosm of tonight, they battled the situation and were there to get a point.
Another short bench for you, it looks like. Any updates on Delgado and Zavaleta? And then also coming into that second half, Douglas Costa scores the goal in that second half. You guys get sort of some momentum. What was sort of the goal coming out of that second half?
Yeah, we, again, I thought in the first half, our biggest issue was initiating kind of pressure, so it wasn't just so easy for them to play balls in between our lines or get around the outside of us. And the more we stayed kind of passive in our block, just it created a little bit of problem for us because they were able to take as much time as they wanted and just look for passes that were penning us back a little bit. And they got big, strong center backs that when they get you in deep and you're dealing with stuff a little lower, then it's not so easy to get out of some of those situations because you're now trying to target sometimes your strikers or your other players, and they're dealing with big, strong center backs. And sometimes we were able to, and sometimes we weren't. So at halftime, the discussion was how to be more efficient about initiating pressure, not giving them such easy starts to their attacks, so that we could try to force them to where we wanted them, which was part of the pregame too. But we just weren't as cohesive. With Douglas playing as the 10, it's not something that he always does, and Billy relatively new. The two of them working, trying to coordinate a little bit wasn't as coordinated as we want. So we just tried to clear it up some more and I thought we did a little better job of, again, initiating pressure, recovering balls in better position so that our transitions weren't so deep. They were a little bit higher, which then enabled us to start attacks in better places. And as you said, we get a goal coming out of half, which was good. And at 1-1, we were going to let it go to about 65-70, and then we liked the other day, the couple days, or I guess it was the Austin, the 2 forwards, and we talked about what we wanted to look like with 2 forwards and tucking in. But we never fully got situated in that situation, in that organization, in my opinion. But nevertheless, we again, everybody did the work, and we put ourselves in position to take a point, and we got to execute the last throw and clear the ball, and that would have been the game. Because I think over my shoulder, the coaches said 10 seconds as the throw-in was about to go in for the whatever it was, 5 minutes or 4 minutes of extra time. So it was literally one play left to get out of there with something.
And Delgado and Zavala, updates on them?
Yeah, Delgado, he came out of the game with concussion symptoms, so he went into protocol. He's doing better. he's making the progressions that he needs, and we're optimistic that he'll pass all the steps, we hope, for Saturday. Ricky making a progression. We hope he will be, ready for Saturday. We'll see. Zav was having lower back spasms coming out of the game and off the travel, the trip, and everything else, which made it difficult. He wasn't able really training yesterday. He was really immobile, and so he wasn't even ready to go tonight. So again, as it would have, we're kind of working through it. Let's just put it that way. And the guys keep battling and stepping up and giving themselves opportunities. But again, it's every play for 95 minutes tonight, and we went 94-50 and didn't complete it.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Next, we'll go to Alex.
Hey, Greg. Thank you so much for your time. On that first goal, we kind of saw maybe a little bit of lack of chemistry there between Aude and Costa. If you could comment, if you feel like maybe with another changed back line and some changes in this 11 in general, that a lack of chemistry is kind of what's maybe causing some of these defensive giveaways?
Sometimes, but I thought, Douglas makes a decision to save a ball that's going out of bounds, and when he saves it, it's right onto the player's foot, their player, who then now is whipping a ball in front of our goal, And sometimes I think there's just a calculation of, especially in those, if you're being eliminated in a situation and it's down in our, final quarter of the field, I'm not so sure it's better to not let that go out of bounds. But then you look at the last play of the game and you say, a throw-in could lead to something like that. But in my opinion, I think we're better off probably letting that go out of bounds, just blocking our group up and dealing with it. Nevertheless, he tried to save it. It was an honest effort, and then the ball gets whipped in front of the goal, and they win the position and score. So again, I think it's one of those things where you probably save that a number of times and nothing comes out of it over the course of a season. But he saved it. We didn't get there. He whipped it in, and they found their guy right on the head in front of the goal. So now you're 1-0 in the first 10 minutes. What was the rest of the question? Just chemistry and continuity. I mean, at the end of the day, when you have as many injuries as we have, and I haven't sat up here and complained about all our injuries, and I don't want to because I'm really proud of the guys, so they've kept fighting and doing their job. But when you have as many changes as we have, you're gonna have some continuity issues. It's not like the group has played a ton of games. This group has played a ton of battle-tested games together. But having said that, we're still in every game. We still are coming away with points in the vast majority of these games, and we were down to one play. And that's just to the guys putting in the work, doing their best, and trying to stick to the plan as much as they can. But there just isn't a lot of repetition in our group. And when you look at the other side, the team on the other side, that team has won championships for the most of them. That team has played in huge games, and there's continuity there, and certainly those are you can say that stuff is in the margins for sure, and sometimes it's even more than the margins, but it is what it is, and I'm really proud of this group, the way they've kept fighting, and we're going to go into Minnesota and we're going to fight our asses off there too, and we're going to go for 3 points because we know that that's what keeps us in it, and we're going to go for 3 points. But the way to get to 3 points is to execute every play over the course of the game and not allow ourselves to get burned on one of these plays, making sure we're marking our guys and making good sound decisions the best we can. And this group is, I'm proud of this group. I can't tell you how proud I am of their work, and they just we just haven't been able to see out some of these draws that we would like to have been 3 points, and some of these tonight we would have liked to have been 1 point. Now we're running super thin on the margins. That is, if we don't have any margins, we got to win all 3 games, and that's the only even hope if anything goes right with us for us on the other side.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm. Next, Rob.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for the time. Why do you think this team finds it difficult to play against Seattle, especially there in Seattle?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult place to play for anyone. Let's just kind of start there. You come and you're playing on turf, which is a different surface. I thought in the first half specifically, there was a lot of just little technical errors and little things that aren't super common for our group, but just technical errors. So I think that's one. Two, again, they're a team it's battle tested. They're experienced. They've been through a lot of big moments together as a group, and they don't give up many goals. They just don't. I think they've given up 32 goals this season. We got one tonight. I think maybe the best in the league in terms of goals against. And any team that doesn't give up goals, and I imagine that they don't give up many goals at home, which makes them even more difficult to beat at home. So again, I think all of these things mean that you have to play a really clean game when you come here and you play them. And you have to execute in your moments because you're not going to get a ton of them. And you've got to be really clean on the defensive side. And if you don't, they're very difficult to beat at home. And I think that's a credit again to their group and the maturity of their group and just how they've been together for a while, and they've been able to make home a really difficult place for teams that come in and get results, get wins.
And last one. In the previous match against Minnesota, it was quite a physical game. How are you guys approaching this match against Minnesota now on the weekend at their home?
Yeah, we gotta turn around. We gotta recover as best as we possibly can. As they're gonna try to do as well, coming from LA, and I imagine I heard the score, a tough game there. So both of us, I'm sure, with everything on the line, are gonna be trying to recover and get as ready as we can for this game. I imagine with both teams' season really kind of on the line that it'll probably be another physical duel and battle, and first and second balls and all those things are gonna still play a huge factor in this game. And so I think, for those of us and you guys too who have been around for the league in the league for a long time, as it gets closer to the playoffs, it gets more physical. It does. And the referees allow it to get just a little more physical, and the teams will get a little more physical. Plays become just a little more important down the stretch. And I think that's just the way it is. And I'd also say that they are a physical team. Like, they have physical profiles on the field, just like Seattle has, and their center backs are physical profiles. They like to get tight. They like to be physical in the duels. I think you see that with even Portland is a physical team. I think you see some of the teams in the league who are built to be physical and play in the transition a lot. And these are teams that are like that. So we've got to. Look, this formula for us is the same. We can't change who we are and go there and try to play direct and out-physical them in that capacity and win duels. We've got to be able to stay connected defensively, make plays. We've got to use the ball wisely. We've got to make sure that we don't put ourselves in bad situations when we're in our possessions. A lot of little things that with the ball we've done pretty well in this stretch, which is what's helped keep us in this race, really, in my opinion. And so we've got to continue to do that and defend our hearts out every play and make every possible play we can.
Thank you.
And we'll go ahead and wrap up with Damien.
Hey, Greg, just want to get your thoughts on Douglas in that 10 role. What did you like tonight? And if Ricky can't go and if Mark can't go, that he sort of slots there again for Minnesota, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility. What I liked and what I wanted him there for is that just for us to get him as many touches as possible, and he has, as you see, the ability to wiggle out of pressure and to get on the turn and get the ball off of one side to the other side. We had some really good attacks in the first half when we were able to get off that right-hand side, and he got us across to the left-hand side, and Julian was then building speed, and we got some balls across the face of the goal. And but ultimately I want him to get as many touches in a game like this as possible to try to unlock some things, because he's the one guy who can eliminate guys, with the ball at his feet. And so that was it. We wanted to keep him relatively close to Billy and give him the opportunity to touch the ball. And defensively, I wanted him to defend a little bit more, as much as possible in the first line, versus having to do some of the up and down on the outsides, because he hasn't, I didn't want to put him into a load of up and down work in the width so that we could try to get him through the longer stretch of the game, but also, recover for the next one. So there's a few different reasons inside of that. As we went to two forwards, I slid him a little bit more to the outside, hoping that he would be able to come underneath those forwards and pick up some balls and work with them in that way. He didn't get as many touches because we just didn't get as many controlled possessions out of the last stretch.
All right. Thanks for your time, Greg.
All right, thanks everyone.